Let's study effectively with Miss ICT Skill Builder. In this lesson, we will learn how to select the appropriate hardware and software for a computer system tailored to the user's needs.
You know that feeling when you're buying a new computer? It can feel like you're lost in a maze of technical specs and just so many confusing options. But it really doesn't have to be that way. What if you had a clear map to find the perfect machine for you? Well, in this explainer, we're going to draw that map together. So, if you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by all the choices out there, trust me, you are not alone. But stick with me, and by the end of this, you're going to feel way more confident about picking the absolute perfect machine for your needs. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big challenge of buying a computer. Then we'll break down the hardware you need to think about and the trade-offs with software, free versus paid. After that, we'll dig into the true cost, which is more than just the price tag. And we'll wrap up with the single most important rule of all, making sure your computer is fit for purpose. All right, first up, let's tackle the biggest hurdle, the computer buying challenge. And really, this is all about changing how we think, moving beyond just a simple list of tech specs. Here's the key thing to remember. The best computer isn't always the fastest or the most powerful one. Nope, it's the one that strikes the right balance for you. You're constantly juggling things like performance and how long it'll last against how it looks and, of course, what it costs. So if it's all a big balancing act, what are we actually balancing? Well, that brings us to hardware. I want you to think of these components as the essential tools in your toolkit. If you understand them, you can build your perfect setup. First up is functionality. It's just a fancy word for the range of tasks a device can do. And this oven analogy, it's perfect. Are you just browsing the web and sending emails? That's kind of like only needing an oven that can roast. But are you editing video, gaming, and coding? Well, that's like needing a multifunction oven that does it all. Knowing this helps you figure out how much functionality you actually need. Next up, let's talk about aesthetics, or, just how it looks. Now, this might seem a little secondary, but don't brush it off. Your computer is something you're going to see and use every single day. Do you want something sleek and minimalist that just blends in? Or do you want a gaming rig with all the lights that really makes a statement? This is where your personal style gets to shine. And here we have a perfect example. On the left, a simple, understated black case. On the right, a flashy, stylized gaming case. Now inside, they could be identical, running the exact same parts. But that extra visual flair, it almost always comes with a higher price tag. Okay, let's get into what makes a computer feel fast. It really comes down to three key things. First, the processor. That's the brain. A faster one means your programs just snap open. Second is RAM. Think of this as your active workspace. More RAM means you can have like 20 browser tabs open while running another app, and things won't grind to a halt. And finally, you've got storage. That's your filing cabinet. Faster storage means you can open up a huge video file almost instantly. And the last, and maybe one of the most important pieces of the hardware puzzle, is longevity. It's all about how long your computer will stay useful before it feels slow or it can't run the latest software. Just like a good pair of shoes, a well-built computer is an investment that pays off over time. It's not just about durability, it's about being ready for the future, so you're not forced to upgrade again in just a year or two. So once you've got the hardware sorted, you need something to actually run on it. And that brings us to software. This is where you face a really big decision. Do you go with free options or do you pay for the premium stuff? It's a classic trade-off. And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got something like Microsoft Paint. It's free and it's great for simple stuff. But on the right, you've got Adobe Photoshop, a super powerful professional tool that costs money but gives you way more features and control. So let's really spell out that trade-off. With freeware, your toolbox is smaller, and you're pretty much on your own if something goes wrong. But hey, you can't beat free. With paid software, you get a much bigger, more powerful toolbox and a support line to call for help, but it's going to cost you.
And all this talk about price brings us to a really crucial point: understanding the true cost. Because as we're starting to see, that number on the price tag, that's only where the story begins.
Here's a really simple rule to keep in your back pocket. Pretty much every feature we've talked about that you'd want, more speed, cooler looks, a longer lifespan, that's all on one side of the scale. And on the other side, the price. If you want more of one, the other is probably going to go up. But the cost isn't just about what comes out of your bank account. Let's circle back to longevity for a second and think about the environment. A shocking 50 million tons of e-waste are created every single year. To try and wrap your head around that, it's like we're throwing away 1,000 laptops every second. Choosing a machine that lasts longer isn't just good for your wallet, it's so much better for the planet.
And that really hammers home this crucial piece of advice. Sometimes spending a bit more upfront on a quality computer that has good longevity can actually save you money in the long run because you won't have to turn around and replace it so often.
Okay, let's make this super concrete with an example. Meet Sophia. She's choosing a processor. The medium one is cheaper right now at $150, but it's only going to be good for about 3 years. Do the math, that's $50 per year. The faster one costs $200, but it's built to last 5 years. Suddenly, its cost is only $40 per year. So in this case, the more expensive option is actually the cheaper long-term choice. Okay, so we've talked hardware, software, cost, longevity. How in the world do you pull all of this together? Well, it all comes down to our final and honestly most important principle: the fit-for-purpose rule. This is the real key to finding your perfect match. And I absolutely love this analogy because it's just perfect. Would you ever use a tractor for the school run? Of course not. It's incredibly powerful, sure, but it's the completely wrong tool for that specific job. It's not fit for purpose. And the exact same logic applies when you're buying a computer. So what are we really saying when we talk about fit for purpose? It means you stop asking, what's the best computer? And you start asking, what's the best computer for me? It's all about matching the machine's capabilities directly to the stuff you'll be doing every day. It's not about getting the fastest car. It's about getting the one that's right for your daily commute. And this idea of what's right is so personal. A digital artist who works with huge, complex files, they need a top-tier display and tons of RAM. But an esports gamer, they need the absolute fastest processor and graphics card to get that competitive edge. The best computer for one is definitely not the best for the other. Which brings us all the way back to the big question, the one that ties this whole thing together. After going through all of this, what is the most powerful computer in the world? The answer? The most powerful computer is the one that's fit for your purpose. The best computer isn't a specific model or brand. It's the one that lets you do what you need to do smoothly and enjoyably, day in and day out. The real power is in the match. Thanks for watching. If this helped you clear up the concept, hit that like button and share it with a friend who might be struggling with it too. Let's build those skills together.